Good afternoon, Coolest Coast. It's time for Coffee on the Coast. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Coffee on the Coast. I'm your host today, Tina Prigge. Delighted to welcome my guest, Margo Meyer from Manitowoc Public Library. Hi, Margo. So good to see you.
Hello, good to see you too.
So, we are talking about a topic today that is near and dear to my heart. We are talking about the homebound delivery services that are part of Manitowoc Public Library. Can you tell us what does that mean? What's homebound delivery service?
Right. Something very near and dear to our hearts here. I've worked in the homebound services area for, I think, at least 10 years now. Our mission is to bring library material to our patrons that are unable to physically get to the library, whether that's due to age-related frailty, a disability, a medical event, maybe they're not able to drive anymore. We take care of getting library books and other materials to them via volunteers.
Which is an amazing service. So the volunteers that you're talking about actually bring a delivery to that person's house and then also pick it up the following month and return it to the library.
Right. So I often will explain that it's similar to Meals on Wheels, only it's Books on Wheels. So, and it's very fitting that we're talking about this because it's National Volunteer Week. And so I want to give a shout out to our awesome volunteers. We have about 10 volunteers that work with us, and they're very dedicated. We couldn't do this without them. And they'll come in once a month and stop in. They'll pick up all the items on their particular route and then bring them to people's doors, drop them off, and then bring back anything that the patron is finished with.
Yeah, huge shout out to the volunteers. So grateful to them for providing that service. And so, yeah, what they drop off, for example, this is a picture of what comes to my house, right? It's this great box. It's got several different materials selected by the librarians. And then the next month, when it's time to send it back, if, for example, I'm going to be at therapy or not at the house, I can even just leave it on the porch. And then it's like this magic elf arrives, right?
Right.
And when I get home, there's a new box. Or it's great. I love it when I am home and I get to chat with the volunteer.
Right. I think those are both really great points to make, Tina, that the bins make it possible. So we know people sometimes have appointments they need to keep, if they're doing rehabilitation or different things. So if they can leave it outside for those times, then the volunteer can switch it there. And if they're home, then it's a nice time to have, maybe a brief interaction with the volunteer. A lot of our volunteers have been able to get to know some of the patrons they deliver to, just to keep tabs how things are going. It's another way to kind of check in on people, which is valuable. And we do have patrons say, oh, it's like Christmas each month. We get a new batch of items.
It is. It's even more fun than getting a package from Amazon.
Oh, that's pretty good because I like getting packages from Amazon. That's hard to compete with.
I'm going to put up a little note on the bottom of the screen here that has the library's website specifically for the homebound delivery services. You mentioned that you've been doing it 10 years. Before I found myself in this situation, I hadn't heard of it, and I think it's such an incredible service. So, viewers, if you think this could be something that would benefit your lifestyle, take a look, go to this link, and check it out.
Right. So that is a very easy way to access it. It is on our webpage, and you are able to apply right on our website. Just two different forms to fill out. If the digital version is going to be challenging to access or maneuver, you can certainly call us here at the library. You can call the front desk and they'll forward your call to us. And we are happy to have a conversation, explain how it works, and then we will mail out the physical forms, the paper forms, and then you can return them. We always send an addressed envelope with a stamp on it, easy peasy. So we try to keep access as simple and streamlined as possible.
I love that. And all it takes is having a library card then, right?
Right. So we actually will issue a separate library card that we keep here. So again, nothing that the patron has to worry about keeping track of. And that particular card will allow us to track what we've checked out. That way, hopefully, we're not repeating what we send. We do have, oh goodness, over 70 individuals now taking part in our program. So it would be hard for us to remember what we've sent to everybody. So having that card allows us to not repeat. Also, if that particular patron really likes a certain series, whether maybe it's they're reading Cheryl Woods or James Patterson or whatever it may be, we can track which book we've given them, so we keep where they are in the series and keep them going.
That's amazing that you do that. And I have to say, I've been so impressed with how tailored the material is that's arrived in my boxes. I can tell that, you and the other staff there have really paid attention to what I checked off as likes, dislikes, what my interests are. When the boxes come, I'm just like, yes, it's always such a delight to see what you've chosen.
Oh, that's good to hear. We do strive to do readers advisory, that we really want to match material to what our patrons would enjoy. I imagine somebody picking items out for me, I'm hoping they'd be just kind of right up my alley. So when you fill out the applications, you're telling us a bit about what you're interested in. That's a great graphic there that shows, you can specify if you prefer regular print books, if large print is more accessible for you. I love large print these days. Books on CD, we also have playaways now, which is a new format. We're able to send magazines as well as music CDs. So there's a wide array of things we can send. And then we do break it down. If you prefer fiction, nonfiction, maybe a combination. Within fiction, do you like romance, mystery? And what type of mystery? You can let us know. Is it, the James Patterson mystery, or more cozy? So we'll definitely tailor it to what you like. And we hope to get feedback from our patrons to allow us to do that.
So I just want to put up this other form here too. Oh, you know what? I think this is possibly the same. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Similar, right?
Similar.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And then this is the actual application form. And I was surprised too, that it didn't take like a long time of deliberation from the time I went online and submitted the forms. I think it was literally the next day, definitely that same week, that the library reached out to start making arrangements for it to happen.
Oh, good. We always hope for fast turnaround. I know people. I think sometimes when someone is faced with challenges and they're not able to get to the library anymore, they have a lot going on, and they might be depending on other people to help out, whether it be transportation to doctor appointments or grocery store trips, things like that. And so maybe they're reticent to say, hey, can you also pick up some library books for me, because that maybe isn't at the top of the needs list. But we like to think of it as a need. It really is something that adds to a person's well-being, and we hope that this program can allow them to continue to feel independent. It's something we can provide. They don't have to rely on, maybe family or friends that are already helping out in other ways. We're happy to do the selection, and that way, if the patron isn't so happy with it, they can tell us. It's okay. But if you have a family member picking out something and you don't like it, well, sometimes that doesn't always go well. So we're happy to take the heat. That's okay. But yeah, we do like the feedback as we go.
Okay, there is a question. Let's see. Tim said, what happens if, say, a patron gets so excited with the material that they receive that they inadvertently damage a book with their bionic hand, which would never happen?
Oh! That's pretty cool. Well, occasionally everybody has things happen. Maybe you're drinking coffee and it spills on the book, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we generally are. We like to think that we're kind librarians, so we understand and we'll work with our patrons when those things happen. But most of the time, things work out. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So I just want to show this. So if you go to the website, the Manitowoc Public Library website, this is the Homebound Delivery Services page, and everything that you need is right there if you wanted to fill out the application online. Or like Margo said, you can call the library and they can mail you hard copies of it. But there's an individual application and then individual preferences. There's also lots of Q&A, FAQs that can answer some of the questions that you might have. But it was straightforward, really simple. And I really feel like our Manitowoc Public librarians do an amazing job making selections based on
Mhm.
preferences.
Oh, well, thank you. It is something that hopefully all patrons will take advantage of, even if it's, if you're walking through our door, our staff, our wonderful staff, is very happy to talk books. And one thing that I did want to mention as a side note, when June and I, that's my coworker, are working on selecting books for our patrons, we use two different things rather regularly that might be fun for patrons to know. We use a site called Fantastic Fiction, which not a lot of people know about, but that helps you discover all of the different things that authors have written. And you can also see the order in which a series comes out. And then we also have a resource right on our website. It's under our I think it's called a premium resource on our website. You can access it with a library card. It's called Novelist Plus, and it's a great way to learn more about books. You can search by whether you enjoy characters and going into big character development, or if you prefer fast action, lots of talk in the book you're reading, or just different elements. So we use it a lot here to help select the books for patrons, but I think it could benefit our patrons overall if they enjoy, kind of researching things and finding other items they might like.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if you like this, you may also then like. So if would it work too if you know that you enjoy a certain author?
Yes.
Can you
So you
find
can
other similar?
absolutely, right. Yeah.
Wow, it's fantastic. Okay, and then you also have a brochure. So if somebody is thinking about it or wants to share the information with friends or family, there's actually a Homebound Services brochure that lays out all of the details that you might be interested in.
Yes. Yes. So, and we're always happy, as I said, if you want to give a call, if you have further questions, we'll talk about it. We can go over some scenarios of how it works, and we can get you further information.
Just looking at this graphic now, it answered a question I had. I was wondering about um, overdue charges, right? Because it's about a monthly swing, the pickup and the
Right.
drop off. And sometimes I think I renewed a book and it said, okay, it's renewed for 3 weeks. And I thought, oh, well, that's not going to work. I have to send it back. But it says fines are not charged for overdue materials checked out through homebound delivery services.
Aha, yes, you're very good. You picked up the details there. So that is one advantage to having the Homebound Services library card. We do not assess fines or overdue charges from our patrons. So we're able to renew for that special 4-week period, because usually ours go out for 4 weeks and come back. So you don't have to worry about that, because I know some patrons will really fret. They've returned books on time all their life, and all of a sudden they don't have control over when that goes back. And nope, we've got you covered. We'll renew that. We
Ah,
do also send out some material for a longer period of time, so I should mention that as well. We work with area senior living facilities as well. So for instance, if we have someone listening to this that happens to be maybe an activity director at one of our local assisted living facilities, they were happy to work with you. We'll get you a special card. We can put together a general box of materials that would come to your facility, and then you would have it for 6 weeks, which is a little bit longer. But that way your residents can come in, maybe do an in-house checkout, and then we'd switch that out at the end of 6 weeks. So we're really trying to promote how we might help out our really busy staff at our local centers, whether it's a group home or senior living facility. And we're hoping to spread the word also with some of our upcoming programming, in case the residents would want to catch their transportation here to participate. So it's a nice way to connect.
yeah, it is really so fantastic. I'm so grateful to know about this program. Thank you for joining us today to share this with our viewers. Again, viewers, the website to learn more information is right here on the bottom of the screen at Manitowoc Public Library. And we were talking about homebound delivery services. My guest today is Margo Meyer of Manitowoc Public Library. Margo, thank you so much for the great work you do.
Thank you, Tina. It's a pleasure working with you, and thanks for letting me talk about something we're so passionate about.
Absolutely. All right, you've been watching Coffee on the Coast. I'm your host today, Tina Prigge. Thank you so much for joining us.